Hey guys, it's Tim and this is Pro Wrestling Unlimited as we are here on the 18th of November 2019 to talk about everything that went down tonight on Monday Night Raw. Excuse me. I thought tonight's Raw wasn't a bad show at all. I think it did good in some ways to build up Survivor Series this weekend. And I thought maybe we were going to get some build past Survivor Series tonight, but we really didn't, which is good. Because I know they're already starting to put the seeds down for TLC in December. And we didn't really get any of that tonight, which is fine. You're focusing on the pay-per-view coming up this weekend that you're selling. You don't need to be selling TLC yet, and so we'll start with that next week, I guess you could say, when we're in Chicago for Raw. But let's see who's here with us in the live chat. We've got Jason Hong. We've got Tara Grissom. Anthony Manzano. We've got Jason Dalton. Derek Bocek. Sinclair Saturday. Killjoy Army. Nicholas Altamore. And so many more of you. And if you see like Nicholas Altamore or Jason Dalton or Killjoy Army and you say, hey, why are their names green? That is because they are a member subscriber here on the PWUnlimited YouTube channel. As a member subscriber in the live chat, you do get your name green. You get a little badge next to your name that changes depending on how long you've been a member subscriber. You get to use emojis in the live chat, and you get early access to special content that it's not news that we put up on the channel. And we actually put a member video up today. We did our latest poll and our latest list video where we let you guys determine the top 5 rematches in pro wrestling history. Nicholas Altamore, you want updated emojis? Give me some ideas. I always love hearing ideas from you guys. If there's a special emoji you want me to add, we can only do a certain amount. But if there's an emoji you guys want me to add, I can see if I can rotate it in. So let me know. Hit me up on Twitter. Hit me up on Instagram. Instagram, just search PW Pro Wrestling Unlimited. On Twitter, it's at PWUnlimited. I love hearing from you guys with new suggestions and new ideas for stuff we can do here on the channel. But if you want to become a member, just like Nicholas Altamore, all you got to do is go down where it says subscribe and hit the join button. And that is how you can become a PWUnlimited member and get early access content and so much more. Krista McNutt, to answer your question, I love it. I'm almost done with Smart Guy. I've got about half of season 3 left. But we're not here to talk about Disney Plus. We're here to talk about Monday Night Raw. So the show kicked off with Vic Joseph. He said the landscape of Raw could change forever. But I'm like, how? Just because of what happens at Survivor Series? Not really. We've never seen any landscape change at Survivor Series. Becky Lynch then came out to open up the show. Lynch informed the Little Shakes, Shayna Baszler and Bayley, that she was right here and ready to fight if they wanted to come get her. No having to come at her from behind. She's ready to go right now if they're in the building. She said she doesn't care about brand supremacy. She just wants to fight them. She says she wanted to fight, and there was no better place than right here in Boston. She then was interrupted by the Iconics, Billie Kay and Peyton Royce, who let us know that they had bad news. That bad news is that they were not added to the women's team for Survivor Series. So fast forwarding a little bit, we do know of 4 of the 5 women that will be on the team for Survivor Series for Raw. That will be Charlotte Flair, the captain, the women's tag team champions, Asuka and Kairi Sane, and also we will have Natalya. That's who they let us know throughout the show. There was no formal announcement. It was just kind of like commentary going, oh, hey, by the way, she's on the team, and she's on the team, she's on the team, and she's on the team. So we learned of, we learned of 4 women. We haven't learned of that 5th. And when you look at the Raw roster, as far as who can be that 5th woman, the only 2 women on the Raw roster that are actually still active would either be Liv Morgan, which you can kind of say she's active because she's not out with an injury or a personal reason or something, kind of like Naomi, who's taking time off for a personal reason, or like Nia Jax, who's out with an injury. But Liv Morgan, she's just not on TV. And you also got Sarah Logan, who can also be added to the Team Raw match, or the Team Raw women's team. So we'll see who gets added throughout the week. If we find out tomorrow, we find out on Saturday, Sunday. Who knows when we're actually going to find out. Tony Mastrin, I hope I said your name right. Ruby Riott is out. She had double shoulder surgery. She had surgery on her right shoulder. Then when that healed up enough, she had the shoulder surgery. That's a tongue twister. On her left shoulder. I think that was the way she went, left and then right, or maybe right and then left. I don't know. But she had surgery on both shoulders. Not expected to be back until early next year. I've heard maybe Royal Rumble, but that could be a little push in it. So going forward, Billie Kay and Peyton Royce, like I said, came out to interrupt Becky Lynch. They were about to tell Lynch about the future, but then she stopped them. Lynch said that she knew that she was supposed to team with Charlotte Flair tonight, but she didn't care about that. She doesn't want to be tethered to Charlotte forever, and said that she would take on the Iconics by herself, and right on cue, out would come Raw Team Captain Charlotte Flair. Charlotte interrupted. She wanted to talk about her own Survivor Series match, which, like I stated, was her leading Team Raw. And then Lynch said, if she was ready to team up, let's team up, and out would come Samoa Joe. Then, all of a sudden, Samoa Joe walks out on the ramp, and the show just cuts to commercial abruptly. And I'm like, was there an issue with my deal? Or did they really just cut that abruptly? And then we come back, and the match has started. And I'm like, what? What's going on here? And finally, we do learn that Samoa Joe is on commentary tonight. He's taking the spot of Dio Madden. He said that they wanted somebody that's Brock Lesnar proof on commentary. Love that line. I actually just completely loved Samoa Joe tonight on commentary. I thought Samoa Joe on commentary was damn near perfect. I think Samoa Joe was well over with the fans, not in the building because they didn't get any interactions with Joe other than his coming out there. But I mean, on Twitter, there was nothing but positivity for Samoa Joe being on commentary tonight. And if there's, what's the word I'm looking for? If you can't use Samoa Joe in the ring, but you still want to keep him on TV, you still want to use him, what better way than to use him like this? Because boy, howdy was he amazing on commentary tonight. I always say Samoa Joe is one of the best talkers they got, and he proved it tonight. Proved it during this 3-hour show. So we did get the Raw Women's Champion Becky Lynch teaming up with Charlotte Flair to take on the Iconics in a match that went less than 2.5 minutes. The Iconics caught their opponents off guard at the start, but then they argued. But it didn't matter. Charlotte put Kay in the figure 8 while Lynch took out Royce with an exploder. Then Kay tapped out, and instead of an instant replay, they showed still photos of the bridge for some reason, saying, look at Charlotte's bridge. It's just so amazing. Like Jerry Lawler was swooning all over it. So after the match, Shayna Baszler, Jessamine Duke, and Marina Shafir would attack the Iconics as Becky and Charlotte were walking off. Lynch and Charlotte, they ran down back to the ring to even the odds, but it was too much because it really didn't even the odds with the Iconics out. It was 3-on-2. Duke and Shafir left through the crowd then. Or Baszler, Duke, and Shafir, all three left through the crowd. Lynch and Charlotte attempted to go after them, but they were stopped by security. 4 male security guards, I may add. Charlotte backed off. But then Becky was like, no, I'm not having this. And she decked one of the security guards and just knocked him right out. Crowd chanted for Becky. After the break, they showed a replay of Lynch knocking out the security guard. Charlie Caruso then interviewed Zack Ryder and Kurt Hawkins about their upcoming title match tonight. It would be putting it nicely to say that they received a little bit of a reaction. Not really much of a reaction at all. Their interview was quickly cut short by the AOP, who attacked them wearing suits and proceeded to just beat the crap out of them. So I thought this could have led to like the OC taking their spots later on in the tag title match, but it wasn't. I mean, not the OC, but the AOP, but it wasn't. The OC then came out. AJ said that he would love to defend his title against Humberto Carrillo, except for the fact that Carrillo disrespected him last week, so he doesn't deserve it. Instead, he's going to face Carl Anderson tonight. Luke Gallows said if you disrespect one of them, you disrespect all of them. Anderson called himself and Gallows the best tag team in the world, and they have the trophy to prove it. Before we get going, I do want to let you guys know, if you want to let me know what you thought of tonight's Monday Night Raw, you can do so in the live chat. If you want to make sure that your comment in the live chat does get read, you can hit it as a super chat donation to make sure it gets read, or you can text me your comments at 510-906-1341. So we did get Humberto Carrillo taking on Carl Anderson, and early on, the Street Profits came out to even the odds. Carrillo set up for a moonsault early, but Styles and Gallows pulled Anderson out of the way, and that's when the Street Profits did come out, like I stated. With the OC distracted, Carrillo wiped them all out with a flip dive as we went to a break. After the break, Anderson was in control, and Vic Joseph let us know that Anderson was putting on a clinic. I think he's been learning from Michael Cole. That's a Michael Cole line if I ever heard one. Anderson had Carrillo in a headlock. There was a light CM Punk chant where he seemed distracted. Carrillo came back with a dropkick and a standing moonsault for a 2. He then followed that up with a high cross and another 2 count, but Anderson then came back with a nice spine buster. Anderson, I think, has one of the best spine busters in all of wrestling right now. It's just great. And going forward, Carrillo sent Anderson's shoulder first into the post. He then hit a disaster kick. Styles then distracted the referee while Gallows attacked Carrillo. Anderson applied a small package, but Montez Ford rolled them over, giving Carrillo the advantage. And Carrillo picked up the victory here. I didn't really like the finish. I thought it was kind of a flat finish. You know, Anderson has him in the cradle. Then somebody just comes in, rolls them over, and he can't kick out. I didn't like the finish. A lot of screwy finishes tonight, just saying. So, Charlie Caruso, in the back, asked Seth Rollins about his challenge later tonight from Andrade. Rollins said that he had no choice but to accept the challenge. Rollins considers himself the leader, and a leader never backs down from a challenge, especially himself, who have been here on the main roster for 7 years. Rollins said Boston knew something about leaders. He mentioned the quarterback of their football team. I don't think he ever said Tom Brady, though. He said the quarterback of their football team, who has been so good for so long that half of the fans want to see him fall. And when Seth, every time we saw Seth except for at the very end of the show, he got some big Roman Reigns-like boos. When he came up for this interview, when he came out for his match later, so I guess a lot of people want to see him fall too. He put over Andrade as being one of the most talented guys in the industry today. Not just now, but also when he was back in Mexico. He said, but this show is not Monday Night Andrade. It's Monday Night Rollins. After Rollins left, Charlie said we're going to have some breaking news coming up. They got Bobby Lashley versus No Way Jose in a squash match. Lana said that this was the happiest day of her life because this morning she filed for divorce and then she just screwed everything up. Crowd loudly chanted Rusev Day. Lana said that with the filing of divorce, she also has a restraining order out on Rusev, meaning that he can't come within 90 miles of her. And then she gets flustered. Lashley whispers in her ear and corrects her because she messed up the line. And she goes, oh, yeah, that's right. I just get so flustered when I'm in here with Bobby Lashley. He can't get within 90 feet of me. The crowd then died. She tried to save it, and there was just really no saving this. Lashley won really quickly with a full Nelson. Then Lashley and Lana made out in the middle of the ring. Nolan Perfect, she did okay saving it, but I wouldn't call it really good saving it. Jay Shaggy, it's 90 feet. not 90 miles. I've never heard of a restraining order that's got miles attached to it because there's no way to know that. How are you going to know if somebody's 90 miles away from you? How are you going to know if somebody's 89 miles away from you? Yeah, 89 feet maybe, but not 89 miles. There's no possible way. Yeah, Nicholas Altamore, Master Lock, Full Nelson. It's all the same thing. Full Nelson submission. So then we got Seth Rollins versus Andrade in a heck of a 15-minute match. The announcers talked about the fact that the SmackDown team can't get along, and the NXT team, well, we don't even know who they are, but it's likely that it's going to be guys that are going to face each other inside of War Games, so that team may not be getting along as well. They went back and forth here, Andrade and Rollins, with Rollins getting the advantage until Andrade distracted the referee while Vega attempted a Hurricane Rana off the apron. However, Rollins caught her and just shoved her off. Referee saw this happening and tossed her from ringside. Andrade then caught Rollins with a corkscrew dive as we went to break. After the break, Rollins came back with a sling blade, blockbuster, clothesline, consecutive suicide dive, springboard knee. All that, only got a 2. Andrade would then counter an Enziguri. He would counter a buckle bomb and sent Rollins face first into the turnbuckle, then hit running a double knee strikes for a 2. Rollins countered a roll-up and hit a buckle bomb, followed by a super kick, but Andrade got the ropes at 2. They traded strikes here, which Andrade got the better of after hitting a back elbow. Andrade followed it up with the triple vertical suplexes for a near fall. He then tried a double foot stomp, but Rollins avoided it. Then he followed it up with a super kick and a Falcon Arrow for a near fall. Rollins then went to the top rope when the Lucha House Party would suddenly appear wearing blue SmackDown shirts, and I liked the touch of the blue SmackDown shirts saying Fox on the back, except for Robert Roode, who he was the only one who didn't have Fox on his shirt for some weird reason. So they attacked Andrade, leading to a disqualification. Very weird, unexpected, and not out of the realm of possibility because you got the whole SmackDown attacking Raw guys. But it was just weird that it was Lucha House Party attacking Andrade. Andrade seemed very confused. Lucha House Party jumped in the ring. He then attacked them before they could attack him, but they overwhelmed him until Rollins made the save. Rollins and Andrade then fought them off. Rollins and Andrade shared some words and seemingly had mutual respect for one another. Rollins told him they'd do it again one day. Really, really good match. I wish we would have got a finish, because for a 15-minute match on Raw, this was great. I loved this match. Another match that was pretty good coming up here was Buddy Murphy versus Akira Tozawa. Thought it went maybe a minute or 2 long. So Buddy Murphy, before the match though, walked through the back when he saw Aleister Black's locker room. Murphy knocked on the door and said that he was here to pick a fight. After no more than a few seconds, Murphy flipped Black. Figured Black was all talk, then walked away. Of course, Black appeared, frantically looking around to say, "Hey, who knocked on my door? Who's here at my closet?" And yeah, I don't know why they would do it like that. It came really off as like a comedy spot where it's like you keep telling people come to you and ask for a fight, and then when somebody does, you're not even prepared to open the door until after they leave. Very weird. So black limousines pulled up. Triple H emerged from one of them. They plugged WWE backstage with CM Punk tomorrow night, and it's weird. I don't know if it's weird to anybody else, but when they do this video package, this recap of CM Punk, and Renee Young does the 1, 2, 3, and then it cuts to Punk when his music should play, the banana 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 banana. It does generic guitar like rock music. It doesn't play his theme for some reason. It happened on SmackDown when they did the recap, and it happened tonight. So it's very weird. But then we got Buddy Murphy versus Akira Tozawa in a pretty good match. Before I talk about that, Michael Eternal Haven says they should have had War Games and Survivor Series a week apart. Ain't gonna happen. Survivor Series and War Games are in the same city. They're not gonna book the same building for 2 separate weekends. It's more cost effective, and they're probably getting a better deal doing it all in the same weekend. Doing 4 nights in a row, you're going to get a better deal on the venue than having to go in there. It's also easier on them, because if you were to do War Games the week before, say you do War Games the Saturday before. So you do War Games Saturday, which would have been last weekend, the 16th. Then you would have to tear it down because they're going to need that building for the week. Then you go into the 22nd, you do SmackDown. You maybe keep the stuff up for Survivor Series on the 24th and the 25th. It's more cost effective and easier on the crew to do it all 4 days in a row. Just saying. But Akira Tozawa got a pre-tape promo early here before the match started. He spoke intensely in Japan, smiled and said, "Good luck," and gave a thumbs up. So Tozawa used chops early, but Murphy no-sold them. Tozawa kept hitting chops until they started wearing down Buddy Murphy a little. Tozawa went for a suicide dive, but Murphy caught him in midair. He then suplexed him. Very cool spot here. Tozawa sent Murphy to the outside. Then as Murphy re-entered the ring, whatever you want to say, Tozawa nailed him with a great-looking super kick. Tozawa followed it up later with a snap German suplex for a 2. He then hit a sliding Shining Wizard for another 2. They went to the top, which eventually resulted in Tozawa hitting an inverted Hurricane Rana. So this was awesome. Tozawa climbs to the top, and Buddy Murphy is standing there. Tozawa jumps onto the shoulders of Buddy Murphy and hits him with like a reverse spike Hurricane Rana. I'm not doing it justice in how I'm saying, like trying to describe it. You got to just check out the clip if you didn't see it. It looked great. So Murphy spiked right on his head and fell out of the ring. Tozawa then followed it up with a suicide dive headbutt that basically he just splashed himself right on the floor. He then hit a jumping senton with Murphy draped over the ropes for a near fall. Tozawa followed this up with strikes, but Murphy caught him with a V-trigger knee and the Murphy's Law to pick up the victory. A 6-7 minute match that was just great. I thought this match was really good. These two worked well together. Eric Rowan then played peekaboo with whatever's in his cage. Murphy then found Black's locker room again. Before he could knock, Black opened the door. Just stared at him. So this time, Black must have been watching the show going, I'm going to wait for this guy to come back this time. So then we got Eric Rowan against, I think his name was Alex Malcolm, in a less than 1 minute match. Before the match, the Singh brothers would crash the party, come down at ringside chasing R-Truth, till Rowan knocked them down with double clotheslines. Truth saw that and said, bye-bye, ran the other way, bailed. Rowan then got in the ring, chucked Malcolm over the top to the outside onto the Singh brothers. Rowan then ran them all over, gave Malcolm a chokeslam, pinned him, 1, 2, 3, there we go. Before we keep going and read some of these text messages here, though. Person here says, first great videos, keep up the good work. Thank you. He said, what do you think of the Rusev-Lana storyline? Do you think it will increase more viewers? So here's the weird thing. The Rusev-Lana storyline doesn't do well with television viewers, but it does really, really good with YouTube viewers. So I don't know where to really put it as far as, is it good, is it bad? I know when it was in the main event segment a couple weeks ago, it actually lost viewers for the end of the show, but did like millions on YouTube, better than any other video. So it's weird. It's very weird that people watching live don't like it, but then people that aren't watching live that come later onto their YouTube say, let me check this video out and see what happened with Lana and Rusev this week. This person says, why do they keep making it seem like NXT is the top brand? Because they have to make us think that NXT is possibly the top brand. Because when you really think about it, we're supposed to, most still think NXT is the developmental brand. Why are we supposed to care about them going after the main roster guys who are supposed to be better than them? So they want us to think that the NXT guys are now on their level. And this last text message here does state, Am I the only one that thinks the Lana segment is one of, if not the dumbest segment I've ever seen? You're not wrong. You're not wrong whatsoever. It's pretty dumb. Again, they were going to do something similar to this with Mike and Maria, with the whole, you're not the baby daddy, and then find out that she's been shacking up with somebody else. But instead, Maria had to get pulled from the road. She couldn't be traveling, and they said, okay, never mind. We'll just move it to somebody else. So going forward, we got Kevin Owens versus Drew McIntyre. Well, actually, I digress. I skipped something. Charlie Caruso interviewed Randy Orton backstage. Crowd cheered for him. She wondered if he could get along with his Raw teammates at Survivor Series. Orton said that he has history of not getting along with others unless it benefits him. He called himself the greatest Survivor Series superstar in history, which benefits him. He heard that the Viking Raiders were looking for a fight tonight because they don't got opponents anymore. He said that he'd be waiting in the ring with a partner. And he could come, a partner of his choosing, which would benefit him later on tonight. So then we got Kevin Owens versus Drew McIntyre. Match went 17 and a half minutes almost with no finish. Just a no contest. What? If you're going to go that long, you've got to give us a finish. So Samoa Joe seemed completely baffled on commentary that teammates would choose to fight each other this close to Survivor Series. Which, he's not wrong. Owens was in control early and hit a cannonball in the corner. McIntyre dodged a stunner attempt and went to the outside. Owens tried a soccer kick, but McIntyre blocked it and launched him from the apron to the barricade, which didn't look fun for Owens. After a commercial break, McIntyre was in control and hit an overhead suplex for a 2. Owens fought out of a rest hold and hit a cannonball to the outside. Crowd chanted for Owens here as the fight spilled to the apron. McIntyre gave him a headbutt, but Owens followed it up with a super kick. McIntyre then gave him basically an AA on the edge of the ring. McIntyre followed this up with a sit-out powerbomb in the ring for a near fall. Owens blocked a suplex attempt, knocked McIntyre from the top, and followed it up with a frog splash for a near fall. Owens would then hit a super kick, then McIntyre hit a clothesline. Owens hit a pop-up powerbomb for a near fall. Owens then tried a senton, but McIntyre got his knees up. McIntyre went for the Claymore kick, but Owens caught him with a super kick. Owens tried for the stunner, but McIntyre shoved him off and hit a Claymore kick. This seemed like the finish. I thought this was going to be it. And then Owens got his foot on the ropes, breaking it up right before the 3. Owens then blocked a kick from McIntyre, hit a stunner, which McIntyre didn't know how to take or sell, really. But then McIntyre got a rope break of his own off the pin. McIntyre blocked another super kick attempt and hit a double underhook DDT for another near fall. Crowd then began chanting, "This is awesome," as McIntyre missed something off the top, and Owens hit another stunner, which looked better than the last time, but still meh. Before Owens could go for the cover, Triple H's music came out, or played as he came out. All of a sudden, we just go to break. After the break, the match is just over. Like, what the fuck? It's just over. Triple H told Owens, that was a hell of a match. We then see the Forgotten Sons, Damian Priest, Dominik Dijakovic, all standing at ringside. Triple H put over the town of Boston, said he had great memories here and in the surrounding areas where he was trained. Triple H talked about trying to recruit Seth Rollins and admitted, yeah, I wanted Rollins because I have a soft spot for Rollins. Because of his passion. He then talked about Owens and how Owens is the kind of guy that will do anything to get what he wants, even backstabbing his own best friend on his first night in NXT to win the NXT Championship. Because if you don't remember, first night Kevin Owens was in NXT, he took on CJ Parker, who is now Juice Robinson. Opening match of that takeover in the main event, Sami Zayn won the NXT Championship. Kevin Owens came down with all the other NXT members and roster members to celebrate, but then instead attacked his best friend Sami Zayn, basically stating, friendships don't mean nothing if I want your belt. And that's basically what Triple H is talking about here, if you guys don't remember. He then said, you're also the one that basically legitimized and put NXT on the map. You showed up with that NXT championship, came down here on Monday Night Raw, got in John Cena's face, and sent him away in an ambulance. He said, maybe more than anybody, you legitimized NXT. He said Owens never really left NXT because he was taken from NXT, and Triple H knows that he didn't want to leave. He made references to management not understanding him and not liking him and not thinking that he fit the mold. He said, hey, Kurt Angle, he fired you. Shane McMahon, he fired you. Triple H said, I love that you don't fit the mold. Triple H noted that his crew here was not here to attack Kevin Owens. They were here to make sure that nobody comes down and gets in the way and stops Triple H from speaking to Kevin Owens. He also noted that, hey, why haven't any of your Raw teammates come out here to maybe try to help you in case somebody tries to attack you? They don't care about you. We care about you. Triple H then went on, said members of the Raw locker room, or went on as members of the Raw locker room finally came out to attack the NXT guys, Ricochet, Cedric Alexander, and a few other mid-card guys, really. As they did, the Undisputed Era would jump in the ring and attack Kevin Owens. Triple H was, quote-unquote, caught off guard by this, and then Adam Cole started just yelling at Triple H about something. The OC would finally run down and run the Undisputed Era off through the crowd. We then learn backstage, Charlie Caruso states that Styles will be defending the WWE United States Championship against Humberto Carrillo next week on Raw. Correction, I was wrong. I thought she said at Survivor Series, so I do apologize for that. Carrillo told her how excited he was for this opportunity. It's his third time in a month challenging AJ for the belt. Caruso then introduced Paul Heyman, who was somewhere else, and cut a promo letting us know that the match between Brock Lesnar and Rey Mysterio at Survivor Series is now no holds bar, no disqualification. He said he promised us that we would either see Mysterio pull off a miracle or get massacred so brutally that they'd have to pull the footage from WWE history and archives. Caruso would then interview Rey Mysterio. Mysterio paused the interview at first to shake hands with Humberto Carrillo, my bad. He noted that he was proud of Carrillo and everything he's doing and stating that he's the future and hopes that he beats AJ next week. Mysterio moved on to talk about Lesnar. He accepted the no disqualification stipulation. Mysterio noted that he's got his pipe, and this pipe is something he will be bringing with him come Survivor Series. Mysterio looked into the camera and told Brock that he would hunt him down and make him pay. The old him would be demanding an apology, but he knows Brock Lesnar doesn't work like that. So at Survivor Series, he's coming to beat that apology out. He's coming for the WWE Championship. He said, this is for you, son. Again, another great promo by Rey Mysterio. And then we got another plug for the WWE Backstage show. We then got Asuka taking on Natalya in a 4 or 5 minute match. Lawler noted this is the first time these women have ever faced off in singles competition. But then, like a minute later, Vic Joseph says it's the first time they ever faced off on Raw. So I don't know if this is the first time on Raw or the first time ever. I believe it's the first time ever in singles competition. Could be wrong. Let me know in the chat or in the comments below. So Asuka went for a running hip attack, but Natty caught her in midair. She tried for a suplex, but Asuka rolled through into a cover for a 2. And then the commentators started saying what they were saying in the Kevin Owens and Drew McIntyre match. These two women, they're teammates Sunday at Survivor Series. So why are they fighting each other? Gabriel Perez, we do know 4 of the 5 women. It will be Charlotte Flair as the captain, Natalya, Asuka, and Kairi Sane. They have not let us know who woman number 5 is. And when you look at the roster, like I said earlier, the only 2 women that are really available would either be Liv Morgan or Sarah Logan. So Sane distracted Natalya, but Natalya fought them both off. She also told a fan to shut up, which is very weird. Well, not really too weird. I'm thinking about it because she's a heel. When Natty went back into the ring, Asuka caught her with a kick to the head and pinned her. Asuka just needed her win back. From what I'm hearing, they're, I guess, building Asuka up to be a challenger for Becky and the Raw Women's Championship down the line. I don't know if that's going to be at Rumble or a pay-per-view after Rumble, but it looks like Asuka's going to be a future challenger to Becky for the championship. Stephen Florence, Ember is out with an injury right now. I believe she had an Achilles injury or an ankle injury, something like that. Maybe it's I don't remember exactly what Ember's injury is, but Ember is out and she is not able to compete. Plus, last we saw of Ember Moon, she was a SmackDown superstar. Yeah, she wasn't drafted, but last we saw she was on the SmackDown roster. Now going forward here, before we do talk about this main event, I do want to talk about a special cause we are teaming up with. It's called Operation Santa Drop. We are raising money to help children in need this Christmas. Some kids may not be getting what they want. Maybe they want a game, a video game. Maybe they want a bike. Maybe they want a fire truck. Children need some help. Some children can't get everything they want for Christmas. Some families just can't afford to get their kids toys or maybe new clothes, maybe just whatever they want for Christmas. And that's where we're coming in. We're going to raise some money. We're going to take that money we do raise and we're going to go buy toys for kids in need. If you do want to help us out, you can donate at the link on the screen or in the description below at bit.ly/OpSantaDrop. Again, the link to donate is bit.ly/OpSantaDrop. We are raising money, like I stated, to buy toys for needy kids this Christmas that may otherwise go without. We never want to have or hear of a kid that comes out Christmas morning and doesn't see a present from Santa or somebody else. So again, if you do want to help us out here and donate, you can do so at bit.ly/OpSantaDrop and help out in Operation Santa Drop. So with that, we've got the main event. I didn't realize until halfway through this match that it was actually a tag title match, but it was the Viking Raiders defending their titles against Randy Orton and Ricochet. So 2 minutes into the match, mid-carders from Raw and SmackDown were shown brawling in the back, and we go to the break. The crowd was fairly quiet when we came back from break. The announcers let us know that, hey, SmackDown people are here, but these four men in the ring don't know because that was not shown to them. Ricochet then tagged in. Then he and Ivar traded acrobatic moves, which the crowd actually liked and kind of got riled up for. Ivar then took out both opponents with a suicide dive. Ivar chucked Ricochet into the barricade. Then Orton grabbed Ivar and gave him a draping DDT. As Orton set up for an RKO, the SmackDown theme song played, and SmackDown mid-card guys, well, not all mid-card guys, because you can't really call Ziggler and Rude mid-card guys when they're kind of pushed up towards the top on SmackDown. I digress. Came out, and this match ended in a DQ or a no contest or something. The match just ended, and they didn't really tell us, and the crowd booed. Four guys in the ring from Raw actually fought them off at first. Members of the NXT roster would then run down and brawl with the SmackDown guys. We saw Matt Riddle, Keith Lee, Tommaso Ciampa, Pete Dunne, Isaiah Swerve Scott, and the four guys in the ring, the Viking Raiders, Randy Orton, and Ricochet, just stood there and watched. More NXT guys showed up, though, the Undisputed Era and the Forgotten Sons, Damian Priest, and they surrounded the ring. They then swarmed into the ring, and Orton hit a great RKO on Dominik Dijakovic. Finally, they were too much for the four guys in the ring, and the NXT men were standing tall. It was funny, though, because as this is going on, you hear, I think it was King or Vic Joseph, one of the two was like, where's Raw? Were they beat up all backstage by Team SmackDown before, or by the SmackDown roster before they came out? And then we hear Seth Rollins' music hit. Seth Rollins' music hits. He comes out with the rest of the Raw roster, well, some of the Raw roster, like the OC and such. They come down to the ring, and they're still not enough. They're not enough. As AJ Styles just gets wasted, laid out by the NXT guys. They then cut to the back. Triple H is in gorilla position. He said that, he said that they are here to prove that they are the A brand. He also said that their door this Wednesday is wide open and anybody is invited to show up. Basically, they just told us Raw, SmackDown, we're going to get Raw and SmackDown guys on NXT this week. They cut back to the ring where the brawl continued with the last shot was Keith Lee launching Carrillo into the Street Profits and Otis. Vic Joseph then yelled about Raw needing to answer NXT this Wednesday on NXT on the USA Network. Chris McNutt says Asuka versus Natalya from June 29, 2016 for a live event in Hawaii. Cool, but I think the way that, because King said they've never faced off before, but then Vic Joseph corrected King saying on television, so, but thanks for that, because I didn't even remember about that, because, it's a live event from Hawaii, I didn't know. And also thank you for your super chat donation, Kristen. Looking at the text messages before we do wrap things up here. This one here states, or are the good matches ending in DQs? If they would just have the match end normally and then have the brawl, it would be so much better. I get it, but they want it to be the fact of like I feel the same way, but they want it to be like the other brand. They don't care about your match. They just want to come out here and attack you. Something along those lines. I don't know how to. I'm trying to justify something that really can't be. This person says, you think Rollins or Owens is turning heel at or after Survivor Series? I could see Owens turning heel maybe after. But at the same time, I wouldn't do it because Raw has enough heels. We need these baby faces on Monday Night Raw. Finally, this last text message just state, do you think Randy Orton and Ricochet would ever be the tag team champions? I mean, they're kind of building up like they want to make them a tag team. I can see, I can maybe see it happening. I probably wouldn't do it because it'd just be too random. But again, it's WWE and they don't mind random. So with that, I do want to say thank you to everybody who was here with me in the live chat and listens right here later on YouTube or listen on podcast services all around the world like iTunes, Google Play Music, Spotify, Stitcher, iHeartRadio, and so many more. We will be live again tomorrow night for the PWUnlimited podcast. We will be talking about, whatever CM Punk does on WWE Backstage. I'll be trying to do the podcast with Nick and watch that show at the same time to see what Punk does. We will also be giving you our predictions for both TakeOver and Survivor Series. So tomorrow should be a pretty packed PWUnlimited podcast. Thank you guys for joining me here tonight. Have a good night, and please help out the kids this Christmas by going to bit.ly/OpSantaDrop to donate to kids in need. Thank you guys. See you tomorrow. Have a great night.